Hey guys, also welcome to another video of mine. It's Kamal Double, and this is your season review of player ratings, how the manager's done, how Mauricio Sarri's done in his first season, and just a roundup. Obviously, the Premier League season has officially finished. We did play our last game against Leicester on the weekend, and we have one more game, but that is in the Europa League. But the Premier League season has officially finished. We've only got one game left. We will be playing New England Revolution in the US friendly tomorrow midnight UK time. So yeah, that'll be interesting. So at the moment all the players are out in Boston in the US, but I wanted to do a video regarding the season review, how I believe the season went. The video will be split into two parts. The first part regarding Mauricio Sarri, how well he's done his first season, and the second part will be on the players. I'll be going through each player, the first team squads, and so going through each rating, what they've done well, their strengths, their weaknesses, and with Sarri, what he needs to improve on for the upcoming seasons, and how I believe he's done in his first season. Now, we need to share some context first of all. Now, the first thing that we need to mention is the thing with Sarri is he came late. He came mid-July. Now, if you go all the way back to summer, remember there were some issues between ADL, the Napoli president, and Marina. We wouldn't pay for the fee. There were some issues, negotiations were ongoing. He came late into pre-season. There was a World Cup as well. He came late and he only had 2 weeks of pre-season. He couldn't implement his philosophy. He couldn't implement any ideas. He didn't have any chance to study the players. He couldn't have any chance to look at the players and request a board for new players that are needed to tailor-made and better for his system. He overestimated the squads, and like many of the fans here in the fan base on social media, including myself, we overestimated the players that we have. He had 2 weeks of pre-season. He couldn't implement his philosophy. He didn't have time to, embed the tactical needs of the players, what they need to do, implement Sarri ball in a good, effective way. Pre-season, we did decent, to be fair to him. We got a few draws here and there, we got a few wins, etc. He got to know the players a bit more. However, we didn't buy a single attacking reinforcement at all in the summer window. We signed a single attacking player. We signed Jorginho, who came as a double deal with Mauricio Sarri, and then we bought Kepa to Balaga, but he was needed. We just lost Courtois, and obviously net spend for Kepa was around 35 million because we sold Courtois 35 million and bought Kepa for 71, and Kovacic was on loan as part of the Courtois deal that went to Madrid. So he didn't sign any attacking reinforcements. He didn't have any opportunity to play the youth much. He didn't have a chance to basically understand the youth player, understand what youth players are ready for his system, what youth players he needs to develop, what players are best to play in what position. He had to study that, and as the Premier League season was going on, he had to understand that. But surprisingly, it was an anomaly because we started the Premier League season fantastically well. We won our first 6 games, we broke records, we were joint top of the Premier League after 8-10 games with Liverpool and Man City. Everything was rosy. We were scoring goals, free-flowing, attacking football. However, the November game where we played Tottenham, that's where it went downhill. We were the only team left in Europe unbeaten up until November in all competitions. We were on fire. We beat Anfield, we beat Liverpool at Anfield, we drew Liverpool home, we beat Arsenal, we beat Spurs, and everything was rosy. However, this was a turning point when Mauricio Pochettino tactically found out Sarri, when he realised Chelsea's weakness. And ever since then, we never recovered the whole season. The whole season went downhill. It was detrimental. It was catastrophic because once they realised that when you man-mark Jorginho out the game, Chelsea's system collapses because he's the heart. He's the thing that keeps it ticking. He orchestrates and dictates the play. Once you lock him out of position, lock him out of the game, then there's nothing left. We have nothing to play through. He got Dele Alli to mark Jorginho, and we got battered that game. 3-1 was a flattering scoreline, I remember. We should have lost 5-1. If it weren't for Kepa, it would have been much more. And that was a significant turning point in our season because after that, results did not go our way. If anything, when we're developing into Sarri's football, when he's implementing philosophy, you should be progressing game by game. You should be understanding his tactics, his philosophy. However, as games went on, we regressed. We didn't progress. Results were going poorly. We beat Man City 2-0 home. That's a fantastic game, best performance of the season. But you look at other games, and we lost 4-0 to Bournemouth, 6-0 to City, 1-0 at home to Leicester, 0-0 with Southampton, 0-0 with Everton, and results were not going our way. It was catastrophic. It was going downhill, and the players he was picking. And one thing I do have to criticise Sarri for was his stubbornness. He continually played at Marcus Alonso when he was continually poor, one of our worst performing players. Ross Barkley, after his purple patch in October, was atrocious for the rest of the season. Kovacic had a fantastic bright spell of his Chelsea career, but he hasn't scored or assisted yet in his entire Chelsea career, and he's not suited for that left centre mid position. When you have Kovacic, Jorginho, Kante as a midfield, there is no creativity in that midfield, and that's where we lacked. Because teams, when they found out our tactic, when Everton was a blueprint, when they designed that low/mid block, when they had that low/mid block, we couldn't play it in between the lines. Alonso, when he wasn't overlapping, was allowing Hazard to be isolated. Morata was not firing either. Giroud wasn't either, and as a result, we started to resort to false nine. And that wasn't an effective tactic either. And I have to feel for Sarri. You have to empathise with him. You have to have a lot of sympathy for him. But at the end of the day, he did resurrect it towards the end of the season, and we did get top 4. He did secure his targets. We have to remember that he got top 3. He was asked top 3, and we are in the Europa League final, and we have a good chance to win the Europa League final. But one thing I do have to criticise him for is his stubbornness, but also the fact that he could have also tactically adapted to the situation in the Premier League. Now, it's not like Serie A where, you can get away with it. He had to tweak some players. He was always using the standard 4-3-3, and we're getting countered by other managers. He had to sometimes change the formation to 4-2-3-1. He could have had a plan B, and he could have adapted a bit more to the players that we have, because we haven't got the play. Let's be real, he hasn't got the personnel to play his style of football. So, you kind of have to adapt to what you have at the current moment in time. But for me personally, he got the targets, he got top 3, he got Champions League football. We are in the Europa League final. A few criticism is stubbornness, the fact that he's not willing to adapt. But next season that will improve when he's got more experience in the Premier League, when he's got more players tailor-made to his system to be able to play his football, etc. When we have those key positions, then we will see proper Sarri, but we have to give it time. It's a process. Liverpool, Man City, Rome wasn't built in one day. That's a key quote. But for me, I'll be rating Maurizio Sarri 7.5 out of 10. I believe he's done really, really well. He's met his targets. There are a few criticisms I do have, but a solid 7.5 out of 10. Leave me your thoughts in the comment section below. What would you give Sarri for his first season? But now I want to break it down into players. Now, individual players in the first 11. Starting with Kepa Arrizabalaga. For me, 8 out of 10. For me, it's been fantastic. No errors leading to goals. Very few errors in the goalkeeping situation. Has the best distribution statistics out of Ederson, Alisson in the Premier League. And he's been phenomenal. 14 clean sheets in the Premier League. 23 clean sheets in all competitions. He's had a fantastic season. And for a debut season for 22 years old, broke the record for the goalkeeping feat. It never got to his head. Has been a goalkeeping hero. Saved us in the Carabao Cup semi-final penalty shootout. Saved us just last week against Frankfurt in the semis of the Europa League final. Yes, he had that shaky moment at Wembley in February, but he's learned from that. He's inexperienced, but he will only improve. He's got that world-class potential, and I'm really looking forward to see what Kepa can do in the future, and I'm really looking forward to it. Like I said, he's had a fantastic debut season. No error seasons of goal. Best distribution stats. Pulled off some fantastic world-class saves, shot-stopping saves, and no complaints to Kepa. Fantastic from him, solid 8 out of 10 from him. Azpilicueta, very disappointing this season. Definitely his worst season in Chelsea shirt, but that's because he's adapting to a new style of football. He's lost the legs, he's lost that yard of pace. I'll be giving Azpilicueta a 5 out of 10. I love Azpilicueta. He used to be Mr. Consistent, dropping 7 out of 8 out of 10. Was, basically world-class in his prime, but he's lost the legs. We have to start looking at youngsters such as Reece James to start taking over. But for me, Azpi's a fantastic leader. He shows some leadership skills. He's always fought for the badge. He was always consistent. And he's always giving it his all. And he's had some decent performances this season, Man City at home. But overall, he hasn't been great. 5 out of 10 from him. Alonso, for me, 100% a 2 out of 10. He hasn't been good at all. Had a decent start at the start of the season, scoring some clutch goals. But defensively, atrocious. Attacking, terrible. Always allowing Hazard to be isolated. Defensive position, terrible. Can't defend, hasn't got that pace either, and he's just not suited to our style of play. So 2 out of 10 for Alonso. 2 centre backs, David Luiz and Antonio Rudiger. Antonio Rudiger had a fantastic start of the season, just like many other players, but I'll be giving Antonio Rudiger around a 7.5 out of 10. I think he's had a fantastic season. His distribution is underrated, commanding his area, commanding his box, slide tackles, fouls, etc. And he's been a fantastic centre back for me. He's a quality centre back, and it's a shame that he got injured because we have missed him badly. David Luiz, underrated as well. Had a fantastic season. One of the best ball-playing centre-backs in the world. He was world-class at his prime. He's not anymore. He has recently signed a 2-year contract. But this season he's been scapegoated a lot. I would be honest. He's been showing a lot of leadership skills. His passing range. His commanding centre-back. Marking his near post has been exceptional. And yeah, I'll give Luiz also a 7.5 out of 10. Now going into midfield, Jorginho, I'll be giving him a 7 out of 10. For me, he's had some shaky moments. He has been scapegoated a lot, but for me, he's pivotal to this Chelsea team. He's fantastic. He's everything we need in a Chelsea player. And he's been fantastic. You know, without him, we can't dictate the play. We can't perform. Sorry, but he's crucial to our system. The fact that he's kept fit all season, some world-class performances. He's a world-class player. Simple as that. He does some world-class performances. Got more interceptions than Fernandinho. Got the most interceptions in the Premier League this season. The most amount of tackles. Tackle succession as well. The way he's distributing the ball. Long passes as well. 2 goals this season as well. And I think he's underrated. World-class player for him. 7 out of 10. Will be better next season. N'Golo Kante, another 7 out of 10. Always consistent. Moving to a new position. High intensity. You know, high energy. Moving the ball around, etc. Fantastic from him this season. Kovacic, for me, would be a 5.5 out of 10. He could have been better this season, had a fantastic start to the season, but left centre mid is just not the position for him. He can't create, he hasn't got the creativity, he can't score, he can't assist. For me, it'd be a fantastic squad option and a fantastic backup register for Jorginho. A fantastic player to bring off the bench. Ruben Loftus-Cheek had some back injuries, but for me, an 8 out of 10. Every time he's played, he's done fantastically well. He has the end product, the best number 8 we have at the club. 10 goals and 5 assists in all competition, and he's barely played this season. Next season, if he can get himself fit, the Premier League ain't ready. The Premier League ain't ready for his source. He's a fantastic player, top player, and he will be world class in the future. Looking at the front three, Eden Hazard, 9 out of 10. Scored 55% of all our goals. 15 assists, 16 goals, has absolutely carried us this season. For me, no complaints from him. Willian, 5 out of 10. Hasn't been great whatsoever. Had more expectations with a more attacking manager, etc. Pedro had a better start to the season, but has dropped off slightly. I'll be giving him a 6 out of 10. Higuain, I would, he did come in January, but I would give him a 6 out of 10. Standard, has scored here and there, but he's lost that yard of pace and he needs to get himself fit, adapt to the Premier League. And Giroud, I will be giving him a 5 out of 10. And that is my player ratings for the season. What do you believe on my comment down below what your thoughts are on the player ratings and on Sarri as well, how Sarri's done in his first season and what we could do for next season. But that's wrapping up the video. If you did enjoy this video, please smash that like button, subscribe to my channel if you're new around here, and I'll see you guys for my next video. Peace.